Tonight is the third and final meeting between the Washington Capitals and the Florida Panthers, and we're going to get you all set up on how it's going to happen tonight and today here on Locked On Capitals.
Your Locked On Capitals, your daily podcast on the Washington Capitals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Capitals. I am your host, as always, the insider to the insiders, Tyler Kuehl, here on this Tuesday, November the 30th, the final day of November. And outside right now where I'm at, it is snowing everywhere. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, because you can say that now because it's after Thanksgiving. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for making Locked On Capitals your first listen today and first watch today and every day. Free and available on all platforms, like you all know. And I'm going to tell you guys, today's episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. The holidays are just around the corner, and finding the perfect gift is a little tricky. Well, Omaha Steaks makes it easy to send friends and family an unforgettable gift guaranteed to be loved. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter NHL into the search bar to order the perfect gift package. So, with that, we're going to get to the meat and bones of this one as well tonight. Florida Panthers and Washington Capitals, one final road day. This time down in Sunrise, where earlier this season they outlasted the Capitals 5-4 in overtime. We'll talk about the matchup a little bit later on as well. We'll give you an update here on the injury situation and who was another star of the week last week. That's right, you guys probably figured out who it is. Also, we'll take a look around the Metro standings as well and see how those teams are doing compared to the Washington Capitals here on this Tuesday edition. So it's going to be another interesting episode. So let's dive right into it here. First of all, actually, probably a little side anecdote here to kind of have a little relaxation, kind of get you in the holiday spirit. Got the first ever freshly cut Kuehl Christmas tree last night. Oh, yes, that is right, children. We got us my wife and I, we picked up we didn't pick it up. We chopped down our own Christmas tree last night. We went to a tree farm where you're supposed to, pick them from there. But the nice part is it's only like $20, to chop it down and get it like shaken out and stuff, because, you want to get the bugs out and all the extra loose needles and whatever. So that was neat, because apparently I've always been reporting that there's been a lot of tree shortages around the country. And I guess those are pre-cut trees, not just trees that have been, sitting in the ground and you have to cut them yourself. Like literally, we took a saw to the bottom of this thing, and we didn't go full Clark Griswold because, we actually brought our saw, so it actually helped out a little bit. And yeah, no, it was cool, and it was actually pretty neat. It was starting to snow. I mean, it was a kind of a cold, dreary day here in West Michigan, and so when it came to, I was like, all right, this could be kind of fun, but not gonna be the Christmas spirit. We're trying to listen to Christmas music to get in the mood. As we're driving in, it starts to rain a little bit. We're like, oh crap. As we get out in the field, though, it was starting to snow. So I'm like, all right, this could be fun. And we got our hot chocolates afterwards, and we got plenty of snowfall. So yes, that is right. Snow and Christmas. Oh, it's that time of year. We're gonna put up the ornaments either today or tomorrow. And I have a lot of cool hockey ornaments. I got goaltending ornaments. I got like a Ryan Miller one. I have a John Tavares one from when he was with the New York Islanders, which I like to post to New York Islanders every year. Just let everyone know, hey, even though the Islanders are like, dude, we made it further than you did the last couple of years, even though they're not doing so hot well right now. But that's okay. So yes, getting in the Christmas spirit and the holiday season. It's a wonderful thing. By the way, happy Hanukkah right now for our Jewish fans out there and Jewish listeners. I know that started up earlier. Was it last week, late last week, or this week? I know they're in the middle of it right now. So hope you guys enjoy your Hanukkah. Obviously, we can't just be talking about just Christmas here on this program. We have fans from all backgrounds and all religions. We got to make sure we're accustomed to them. And I hope you guys have some fun. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know about dreidels because I had a friend who was Jewish and we played with his dreidel, which we thought was pretty cool. And so, yeah, have a happy Hanukkah, everybody, with that. So let's get into some of the latest news around the National Hockey League. The 3 stars of the week have been announced once again. And surprise, surprise, after this past week, Alexander Ovechkin is on the list once again. And he was the first star of the week as a result of another huge weekend. Let me quick 1, 2, 3, 4. He's been on since this beginning of the season, which the first star of the week was October 17th. He's been on it 4 times already, and he's been the first star 3 of those 4 times. So yeah, Alex Ovechkin's been pretty good, guys. And it's so crazy to every time I see him, and every time I see him on the list, I'm like, well, of course, when you put up this many points. Looking at the last week, which would include the game against Seattle and onward, not including the 2 goals and an assist he had against San Jose, he had in total, actually, no, it'd be since November 22nd, not even including the West Coast trip. Just in the 3 games since Washington has come back to the Eastern Seaboard, he put up 7 points over those 3 games. Obviously, 3 assists in the win against Montreal, a big goal against Carolina on Sunday, and 3 at home against Florida on Friday. I don't know what more can we say about this guy. He has been a dominant force from the get-go. He's still the team leader in points. He is the team leader in goals. He is up there towards the top of the National Hockey League in points as well. I mean, he's on fire. He's 10 clear of Evgeny Kuznetsov, who is second on the team. He has 37 points through 22 games played. He is just under 2 points a game, guys. And once again, I keep saying this because maybe if I keep saying it, maybe I'll jinx it enough. But the fact of the matter is this: he's going to tail off eventually, right? Like at his age, how many times, like a 75-point season? How is that for Alexander Ovechkin? Like how crazy if we said, 75 points, that's a lot for Ovi. Well, just look at the numbers he's had in the past. He has had a total of 4 100-point seasons in his career. Those all came prior to 2009, 2010 was his last year. He put up 109 points. His most was 112 back in the 07-08 season. That was the first year he and the Caps made the playoffs. Over the years, though, the last time he's hit over 70 points was the last year he scored 50 goals, which is when he had 89 points. Yes, he had 48 goals in 2019, 2020, and probably would have hit 50 had it not been for the pandemic, but he was only at 67 points because he only had 19 assists. This year, he's doing both scoring and being a playmaker. Yes, kids, the playmaker, Alexander Ovechkin. 19 goals, 18 assists. He is, and of course, having 3 assists in the game against against Montreal certainly helped out a lot. But it's just showing that he's realizing that he does what it takes to win, whether it means, hey, I need to score 2 goals tonight, or I need to be a good playmaker out there, maybe be a decoy. He has gone pointless in some games this year, guys. It's not like he's scoring every single game or it's all for naught. He's still being a factor out there no matter what, whether it be on the offensive end, the defensive end. That's why he's been so dynamic, and that is why he is the first star last week across the National Hockey League. Let's take a look at the injury report here. The injuries they're not. It's so funny because I saw an article yesterday saying how the Washington Capitals is on NHL.com, Tom Gigliotti doing it. And he said, they're talking about how the Washington Capitals have been able to fight through all these injuries, all these young kids coming in. Alexi Protas getting a goal and having 2 assists in that win on Friday against the Florida Panthers. Brett Leeson, of course, coming with a couple goals. Connor McMichael making an immediate impact. I know Hendrix LaPierre is back down at Acadie Bathurst in junior ranks, but he splashed on the scene, scoring the first goal of his career in Game 1 with Wayne Gretzky literally on the air on TNT. That's kind of neat. But the fact of the matter is that this team has rotated players in and out. Garrett Palan, Michael Scarbosa. The list goes on and on and on with this hockey club. Well, the fact of the matter is this. They've been doing it with a lot of their big names out. TJ Oshie off injured reserve. Should be playing relatively quickly here. I know he's been having that nagging foot injury. Anthony Mantha still out for the foreseeable future with that shoulder. Of course, we saw Connor Sheary right in the middle of that West Coast trip go down. I've heard it was lower body, but at the same time, I've also heard that it was upper body as well. I've heard both upper and lower body. That's why when you look at it on the screen right now here on the YouTube channel, it is lower body because that's what it initially was. And it could be upper body as well. You hope he gets back soon because they had that really good game against, what was it? No, it wasn't. It was Anaheim, wasn't it? He scored 2 goals against Anaheim. And that's what I'm saying. He's been a real big part of this team. And of course, Justin Schultz having to go down. not playing Friday because of something happened on Wednesday. It's upper body injury, placed on IR as a result. Next time he's available won't be until later this week for the Washington Capitals. Available Thursday would be the first time he's allowed back in the lineup, and against Chicago. And I'm just saying to myself, how does this team keep doing it? Now Justin Schultz is the first real hit on the defensive end. And of course, having the week that Dmitry Orlov has just had, obviously that's not a massive panic attack because of how the top end of the defense core is doing right now. But the real sign pointer here is who's going to really step up here. I mean, Justin Schultz hasn't been the offensive juggernaut that he has been, but certainly with Martin Fehervary and Trevor Van Riemsdyk, Johnny Carlson picking up his play, Orlov. I mean, certainly the top four is doing well. Nick Jensen is certainly still in the mix. They're playing well. I'm interested to see who fills in that spot a little more admirably here for the Washington Capitals as the season wears on, because how serious is Justin Schultz's injury? We don't know. So maybe we'll get an update either later today or tomorrow or whatnot, but I'm really hoping that it's nothing too serious, because I like to keep all of my 6 NHL-ready defensemen in the lineup, but that doesn't mean we can't see anyone come from Hershey. Now, of course, Hershey right now is certainly in a bit of a tango, because they have their games canceled through, I think, this week because of COVID issues, and they are the first team in the AHL to have to postpone games because of COVID issues. Obviously, we're having the issues right now with the New York Islanders through the rest of this week. So certainly the COVID bug is starting to come back around here, and we're really starting to see it in more ways than one with the amount of cases. And obviously the Carolina Hurricanes could be next, with the fact that Brent Pesce and Tony DeAngelo, after the loss to Washington on Sunday, was reported yesterday morning that they're under COVID protocol now. And if there's anyone else that tests positive before they have to go to Canada for a couple very important games this coming week. So yeah, COVID definitely still real, guys. I don't know if you looked at the news in the last 20 months. Yeah, it's a thing, and it's still out there, and it's really kicking people's teeth in. So, and I don't know if that means for the Hershey Bears, if they can't bring anyone up right now, or they can't send anyone up to Washington. But you really hope that nothing is too serious, given the fact that I know I said that the next few games are not the toughest for the Washington Capitals this season, but you don't want to get lackluster, because the Chicago Blackhawks are getting a little pesky right now with some teams and playing some pretty good hockey with their new coach, Derek King. So you really hope nothing is too bad and nothing too serious on the injury front, or doesn't sit around for too long for the Washington Capitals. But those are the injury updates here on Locked On Capitals. We'll get to the Florida Panthers once again here in just a minute, getting ready for the third and final game of the regular season between these two teams in just a second, guys. But it is the holiday season, and an Omaha Steaks is the perfect gift right around the corner. And sometimes getting the perfect gift is a little tricky, but Omaha Steaks makes it easy to send friends and family an unforgettable gift guaranteed to be loved. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter NHL into the search bar to order the perfect gift package. For just $99.99, you'll get 24 entrees like the world-famous bacon-wrapped filet mignon, chicken breasts, sides, desserts, and so much more. When you use the code NHL, you'll also get an additional 8 Omaha Steaks burgers free with your order. We've all heard reports about shortages and shipping delays, so don't wait. Order the perfect gift package today at omahasteaks.com to get 8 free burgers by entering the code NHL. Achieve gifting greatness with Omaha Steaks. Incredible flavor, incredible value, and 100% guaranteed. omahasteaks.com, keyword NHL. The Florida Panthers. One last time. This, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it's getting so boring to play the same team over and over again. Well, at the same time, the Florida Panthers have had such a great start to the year, but let's be honest, that game last Friday was very wonky. So we can't really look at it and say, oh man, I mean, the Caps got this one in the bag. Because don't forget, it was only a 4-3 game. It took Alexander Ovechkin to literally drag the Capitals to win that game. So seeing it back again, Bobrovsky, as far as we know, is going to be healthy. I don't know what the plan is to have him play, mainly because I'm not quite sure what the plan is going to be for Florida. Spencer Knight did play obviously Bob's going to be well rested. Spencer did play in the 4-1 loss this past Saturday to the Seattle Kraken, who have now 7-13-1, guys. They're picking it up. I don't say they're picking it up, but I mean, they're above the Vancouver Canucks, which Again, I don't know if that means a whole lot right now in that Pacific Division, but the fact of the matter is this: the Florida Panthers are still a good hockey team. Are they in the lead in their division? No. The Toronto Maple Leafs have leapfrogged them. They have 33 points. Granted, the Leafs have played 2 more games than the Florida Panthers. I think this is going to be a much tougher game out of Florida, so Washington's going to have to be ready. They're back home at BB&T, which I know it is not, as crazy as it was the beginning of the playoffs last year in terms of fans, in terms of crowd, but I can tell you that area is starting to sense that this is a real good hockey team and could be a special hockey team, and they're turning out in groves for this team as well. So that's going to make this game very entertaining tonight. I expect Florida to come out hard. I know they're still without Sasha Barkov. He was placed on IR, but he was skating, so that's certainly a good sign to see. I don't think he's getting in the lineup tonight, which, like I said, things could obviously change by the time you guys listen or watch this podcast, watch this show today of Locked On Capitals. But I'm really intrigued to see how this team actually plays it out, because the Caps they're on a good roll right now. They've won their last 3 games. They've won, what is it, 5 of their last 6 games. They have been very, very efficient as of late. Obviously, Ovechkin's been big. Ilya Samsonov has been great. It's right now the perfect storm for the Caps. Johnny Carlson's been looking good, and the kids have played well, despite whoever's playing. I mean, obviously, we've seen players come in and out of the lineup. I've been really impressed with Blake Malenstein and his hard work that he's shown. He's not put up any points yet, but he's certainly showing that he can be a guy. Dennis Cholowski's getting in the lineup getting in the lineup with Justin Schultz being out as a result. I'm curious to see how this team comes out hard tonight. I think Washington, for them, it's going to be important to score first, maybe score the first 2, given how good, you have Carter Verhaeghe back there, and you still have Johnny Huberdeau, who is always dangerous. You have that incredible defense for the Florida Panthers. Getting the first goal is going to be so important in this game to really set the tone. And I think Washington realized that it's on the road for one thing. So sometimes getting out in front can certainly help. I know some coaches that are it doesn't really matter as long as we come out hard the next shift. Listen, it matters to all of them. It matters to every single one of those guys that they get that first goal to calm the crowd down a little bit and get back at it and get out in front. That is a very important thing, especially with these Florida Panthers that we've seen that can score in droves. Now, granted, the Florida Panthers did have that loss on Saturday to the Kraken, but they've still been a good team. I don't think we can really underestimate that enough, because outside of the back-to-back losses, prior to that, they had won 4 straight games, which includes, a win over the Islanders. They beat the Devils, beat the Wild, and beat the Flyers, who Flyers are getting a little skittish right now too, which we'll kind of touch on here in just a little bit. So I'm excited. I'm going to say I think Samsonov's probably going to get the start again tonight, and probably expect Vanacek to play on Thursday against Chicago, because I don't know how you pull Samsonov out of these big games. The way he's played as of late over the last couple weeks, I think he's had some really good games, really good starts, and it's going to be. And I'm excited to see a dual Russian goalie battle. Like, that's going to be something that is going to catch my eye. I think, despite Bob getting dinged by Tommy Wilson on Friday, I thought he still played an all right game. He's been great all season long. He's back to Vezina or Bob Vezina, whatever you want to call him. It's going to be a good game tonight. I'm still going to pick Florida. I'm going to get them on the road, or I'm going to get the Capitals on the road. 3-2, I'm going to say Florida. 3-2 this time. And Sam Bennett scores the game winner. Sammy Bennett. Love Sam Bennett. Always have loved him. Even when he's back in Calgary, love the way he plays. Sammy Bennett with the game winner tonight for Florida against Washington, the final game of the regular season. We'll touch on the look around the Metropolitan Division here in just a moment's time. But guys, I got to tell you that BetOnline has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before, because football season and hockey season continues, with football beginning its march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all of the sports action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to receive the bonus. From the NHL to football and basketball, boxing, UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, do not wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, the Metropolitan Division, kind of wonky right now, mainly because of the fact that there's been a couple teams that have really dipped. The New York Islanders, we'll start off with there. Obviously, the COVID issues certainly aren't helping, and you really hope that they can bounce back quickly from that. Because as we saw last season, teams that had to come out of COVID pauses, now granted, Vancouver's and New Jersey's were pretty, dare I say, gruesome on the length and the severity of some of the players' health coming out of those breaks. You really hope so, because this team that everyone picked this team, just about everyone picked this team, unless you wrote for the Carolina Hurricanes. You picked them to finish atop of this division because of how they continue to progress, and you thought this was the year. This was the year. This was the year. I really thought that this could have been a special year as well. First season in the new arena, UBS Arena, they still haven't won a game there. It's so painful to see that for this hockey club. The New York Rangers have won more games than the New York Islanders in the UBS Arena. Now, granted, it was only one, but you get my drift. So they have only played 17 games, and they're going to have the fewest games played in this division as we kind of creep towards Christmas time, which are going to have to be made up later on, which means their schedule later on in the second half could be disastrous and painful for those teams. Philly's right behind them, 8-8-4. They're 2-6-2. They've lost 6 straight, guys. Heading into tonight's action, this team has been very shocking. And the crazy part is, for the first time in, I don't know, when was Pelle Lindbergh in goal? When was the last time you can look at the Philadelphia Flyers' losses and their downfall and not point at the goaltending? This team is so good with their goaltending right now. Carter Hart's been great. Martin Jones has been solid. The team just can't find a way to put the puck in the back of the net and help the goaltenders out right now. So now we're down to 2 teams that are not above 500 for the longest time, where the Metropolitan was the cat's meow of the league, given the fact that no one was below 500 or even at 500. Now we have 2 teams here. One team that is not, and that is the New Jersey Devils. They're hanging around there. They're 9-6-4. Had a big win this past Sunday. Jesper Brattson playing really well. Dawson Mercer has been a pleasant surprise. Andreas Janssen, pretty sure Leafs fans right now, I know we're at the top of our division right now, but boy, we love Mango back. This team has been very solid throughout the entire year. Mackenzie Blackwood has been a very solid goaltender. We thought when they lost Scott Wedgwood to waivers, we thought that was going to be a big hit. But Mackenzie Blackwood has become the goaltender that many of us thought when we saw him in junior, like, this guy's going to be a real good goaltender someday. And guess what? He is starting to play like it. And that's a huge thing. And I know right now they're sitting 6th in this division, but the fact of the matter is this: they have 22 points. They're technically 2 points behind Columbus. And I don't have the wild card stats or standings in front of me yet, because I think it's still too early for that. But the fact of the matter is this: the Devils are off to a great start. Another team with a surprising start, another team that has yet to even lose a game in past regulation, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're 12-7. Yeah, they lost the other night, but they've won 6 of their last 10 games. And of course, the Capitals will get to see them in their upcoming schedule in the near future here, which could be another fun matchup to watch. The Blue Jackets are certainly one of the big surprises of this year as well. I don't think anyone really says that, oh, Columbus, that's a team that's going to finish up in a playoff spot. No, this team's going to take a huge dip. This team's going to fall off a cliff a little bit. They're going to struggle, and they're not going to really do a whole lot in this division. The goaltending is going to be sour. There's not going to be a whole lot of scoring. Jakub Voracek's too old. They don't have Cam Atkinson anymore. They lost Seth Jones. What does this team have? Well, grit, tough play, and they've had, Boone Jenner's played well. I've really been impressed, obviously, with Korpisalo and Elvis Merzlikins, 2 goaltenders. Korpisalo with a great bounce back here. Merzlikins, who is playing inspired, unfortunately, due to the loss of Mattis Kivlenieks over the summer. I think this team is going to be a team that we have to continue to watch out for. Like I said, I think we're saying the middle of December or even Christmas for that cutoff line of who's in, who's out. Pittsburgh has really, I know they've only won 5 of their last 10 games, but I have been really impressed by the way the Pittsburgh Penguins kind of have started to pick up their play over the last few games. mainly because of the fact that, they have Sidney Crosby back. Chris Letang's healthy. Because remember the beginning when they just had pretty much the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins in their lineup. But they have done well so far. Yeah, they've lost their last 2, but prior to that, they were on a win streak of 5 games, having beaten Montreal. They beat Toronto, of course, in Toronto. They beat the Jets. They beat the Canucks, which is not, once again, not a whole lot. But, this has been a team. They had a tough 2-1 shootout loss last night to the Flames. I've been really impressed by the way this team has turned it around, because when Washington saw Pittsburgh with Crosby just coming back in the lineup, they torched him. They torched the Penguins hard, did the Caps. And I think the next time these two teams meet later on this season, if all the stars are aligning, it could be a really, really good and fun hockey game to watch. In third are the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers, who have won 7 of the last 10 games, they've won 3 straight. I don't know how this team's doing it. I'm going to be straight up honest with all of you. I have no idea how this team is winning hockey games. And I say that in the most loving, compassionate way I possibly can, because of the fact that I don't know how they're winning. Well, pardon me, I do. I just don't know how they're winning consistently, because Artemi Panarin and Adam Fox are the only 2 players with over 20 points right now. Adam Fox is poised to give himself another Norris candidacy this year. Chris Kreider is quietly scoring 15 goals, which leads the team by a lot. In fact, he's the only Ranger with over 10 goals this year. Mika Zibanejad has not been the great goal scorer that he's been in the past, but he has 16 points. It's Igor Shesterkin. Guys, is Elvis Merzlikins and Igor Shesterkin our best candidates right now? I know it's completely bonkers to say, but look at this. Igor Shesterkin this year is 11-3-2 with a 9.33 goals against 9.33 save percentage, 2.22 goals against average, and a shutout. This guy has seen almost more rubber than any goaltender this season in the National Hockey League, maybe outside of the Vancouver Canucks right now. But he has been sensational, outstanding. He's made big save after big save. I couldn't tell you how many games you watch of the Rangers. I've watched a lot of them, obviously, lovely ESPN Plus, and say to myself, how are the Rangers in this game? And then I see the guy at the end of the rink, and I'm like, oh, and this is nothing against Alexander Georgiev. I think he's still a solid goaltender. He's just not having a great year so far. And I think when you're given the betterment of the starts to one goaltender, certainly your backup is going to see his numbers drop a little bit. But right now, if you're the Washington Capitals, how are you making this? If you're Gerard Gallant, how are you saying, yeah, Shesterkin's not our guy tonight? How do you say that? Unless it's like a back-to-back against a lesser team. This was not the same team at all that we saw on opening night. We thought the Rangers were going to be a doormat after the way the Capitals treated them in that 6-1 win. Here they are, though, third in the division. In second, of course, the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, once again, this is going to be a tough stretch here without D'Angelo and Pesce. What is their defense looking going to be like going to the Canadian road trip, because those guys can't travel with them into Canada? They are 15-4-1, though, and they're going to hit a tough stretch here. How are they going to be able to work through this? That is going to be the big concern with this hockey club, because, they still have the talent. We saw that. Frederik Andersen's playing great this year. He loves playing in Carolina by the looks of things. I'm interested to see how this team works through this tough stretch here, because, yeah, they have been one of the best teams in this division just about until the last week or so when Washington has jumped over them in this division. It's going to be a tough road here for Carolina, but they certainly have the offensive firepower to do it. Niederreiter's having a good year, of course. I've really been impressed with their defense, outside of the fact that now they're going to be a little bit smaller. I wonder how they're going to handle that with the Chicago Wolves guys coming in here. But Carolina's been really good, and I still don't think you can say that, they're going to fall off, because we've been saying that since they first made the playoffs back in 2019. Well, first in this stretch. So it's going to be still a fun division to keep your eyes on. So there's your Metropolitan Division wrap up. And that is it for this episode of Locked On Capitals. Thank you very much for listening and watching today's episode. Now be sure to go make your second listen, Locked On Bets, your boy Q, and expert analysis from Lee Sterling every single day for all of your betting needs on Locked On Bets. Be sure to follow us at Locked On Caps on Twitter. Follow me, the Insider of the Insiders, Tyler Kuehl, at TJKU29 on the Twitter and the Instagram. We'll be back tomorrow to recap the game against the Florida Panthers tonight. It is going to be a really interesting game down at BB&T Center. 7 o'clock puck drop tonight between the Caps and the Cats. once again for the third and final time this season. I'm Tyler Kuehl, the insider of the insider, saying thank you very much for listening and watching this episode of Locked On Capitals. We will see you tomorrow.